Hello everybody, this is NAPA Fan here, and this is qualifying for race number 3 in season number 9 of the NOFSRL Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We are here at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Uncharted qualifying here for the NAPA 400 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. And these are the 8 drivers who will be battling it out for the top 2 positions to advance on and race in tomorrow night's event. Nick Smith in the 07, Christian Vargas in the 08, Josh King in the 21, Daniel Voyles in the 55, Brandon Mayhew in the 57, Trey Smith in the 67, Hunter Blade in the 71, Landon Smith Jr. in the number 98. And the first driver out there on the racetrack, the number 67 of Trey Smith. Going to be his second attempt at a Chick-fil-A Cup Series event. Did not qualify last week. 2 drivers were Mark Allen and Josh King. I know all these guys excited to get their opportunity at their first ever Chick-fil-A Cup Series start. Whereas a couple of these guys have made Chick-fil-A Cup Series starts before, like Nick Smith, Christian Vargas, and Daniel Voyles. The other 5, actually, Jonathan King, or should I say Josh King, not Jonathan King. That's the name I'm really used to. Josh King did make last week's race, so 4 of these guys have not made a start in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series before, while the other 4 have. And it's going to be an interesting race tomorrow night, too. We really don't know what to expect. It's going to be a slightly different package again here at the Auto Club Speedway. Of course, last year was the first time we used the newer version of the Auto Club Speedway. We had traditionally used the original version of California for this slot in the schedule, but in Season 8, we decided to move over to the new version, and the racing was a little interesting. And now, the racing's going to be interesting again. Don't really know what to expect. It's going to be a little bit different than what we saw last week. Should I say last year? Even though every year kind of feels like a week now. But still, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out when we get these cars, all 42 of them, on the racetrack. It should be a one-stop race tomorrow night as well, so that'll also help out. That's something else that is different, I think, from last year. I think last year we did have 2 stops. It should be a one-stop race, only unless we get an early caution. If that happens, it could end up being a 2-stop race, but we'll have to see how it all plays out. I do know it's going to be a good one for the 3rd race of the season. Of course, we've had a couple of really good great races, I should say, leading up to this one. Of course, the 500 was wild, as it always is, and last week's race was very strategic, and there weren't any goofy things that happened in that race, which I really liked. Don't like it when those types of things happen in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. I will say Trey Smith looking pretty fast, under 37 seconds right now, the number 67 for North State Racing. Of course, the 2 teams that have won races this season, North State Racing and Outer Island Motorsports, both have been in existence since the inception of custom teams in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. So it's been all veteran teams and drivers this season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We'll have to see if a new team or a new driver can win tomorrow night. Possibilities are endless, and we'll definitely get an idea for who's strong when we head to qualifying tomorrow, or later on, right after this here from the Auto Club Speedway. And then the Turkey Hill Series hits the track for the Pepsi Zero Sugar 300 at 9 p.m. Eastern on NAPA Fan. So I hope you guys check that out. That should be a fun race. Number 57, Brandon Mayhew. Currently the fastest driver with Landon Smith Jr. in second. Only driver yet to complete a lap is Nick Smith. He's going to cross the line and go to 3rd, but I'd imagine his next lap here is going to be pretty fast, getting a bit of a pull right there from Brandon Mayhew ahead of him. That'll definitely improve the lap time of the 07 machine. Brandon Mayhew behind Josh King. They are the 2 drivers who are currently in the show for the NAPA 400. Of course, Josh King advanced on last week. He's going for his 2nd start in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. But I would definitely watch out for Nick Smith here. He's got a toe behind the 57 of Brandon Mayhew, and Nick Smith, one of the more solid guys that is in the Turkey Hill Series, and he did not advance his time, but Josh King did. Did I do that again? Josh King, not Jonathan King. We used to have a Jonathan King, and he raced last year in the Haas IndyCar Series, almost won the Indianapolis 250 last year. And I'm so used to saying that name. It's Josh King. I only have a J written down on my notebook. I should put his full name down so I don't make that mistake again, because it's looking like Josh King is going to make 2 in a row here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Let's see if Nick Smith can find anything on the... Yep, he found it right there. He is. Top of the board for Nick Smith. Found that toe off the 57. He's now fastest, so it's Nick Smith and Brandon Mayhew, the two fastest drivers here in NAPA 400 Uncharted qualifying. We're focusing on these guys because they are the three fastest drivers by quite a bit, by 0.3 of a second compared to the rest of the field here, so these are the guys who are battling for it. And right there, you see Josh King heading in the pit lane. He will not make the show for the NAPA 400 tomorrow night. Tough break for him right there. But Nick Smith, fastest time here in Uncharted qualifying, right behind Brandon Mayhew. It does appear it's going to be these two drivers racing in tomorrow night's race and going for the pole right after we're done right here, joining the other 40 full-time drivers for pole qualifying in the NAPA 400 from the Auto Club Speedway. And I think this is a race you want to start inside the top 15. But by the looks of it, I think we're gonna have a lot of passing, but it's not gonna be like it used to be, where it was cycle racing the whole way through. So I think these guys, they're gonna definitely want to go for that pole here in a moment. Nick Smith and Brandon Mayhew, they're going to be in the show tomorrow night. They're going to be qualifying with the other 40 full-time drivers. Brandon Mayhew, his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series start. Let's see what they do with the other 40 full-time drivers here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series as they go for the pole in the NAPA 400. And here we go. We're ready to set the starting lineup for the NAPA 400 here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Season number 9. It's going to be interesting to see who gets this pole position and starts up front, because where you start in this race is going to mean quite a bit to where you finish, I do believe. Nick Smith, who just advanced on from Uncharted qualifying, first driver out there in the 07. How about this? Our new points leader here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series is none other than Trey Bartow. Had a couple of really strong runs, actually 2 straight top 5s. He's the only driver to do so in the first 2 races of the year. Great job out of Trey Bartow this season and the Titan Fury Motorsports organization. I think they're going to have a pretty good year here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Of course, the last winner was Jesse Turner. Alexander Rowe won the Daytona 500. And I mentioned it's been 2 teams who have been in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series since we began Customs, who have won races so far. It's been all about the veterans in the teams and the drivers this season. We'll have to see if somebody changes all that up tomorrow night. First 2 drivers out there, Cody Sill, Nikolai Sykes. As a matter of fact, I should say the 07 of Nick Smith is the first driver out there. And there he is on his flying lap, his first of what will probably be many. Of course, with group qualifying, these guys get an opportunity to clock in as many laps as they like. And sometimes they get faster as the session goes along, so we'll have to see how it all plays out. Nick Smith coming across the line. He is going to go to a 37.893. That was significantly slower than the Uncharted qualifying session, but he is just getting warmed up. He's got to watch out for all these other guys who are coming off the racetrack as well. Drafting here is a very significant factor to how well you do. That's how Nick Smith advanced on through the Uncharted session. And he's going to have to hope for somebody to be right in front of him, so he can get a good pull off of them and possibly find his way to the pole. An Uncharted driver has won this race, I want to say 3 times. I know Alex Bongschauer has done it twice as an Uncharted driver, but I'm pretty sure we had another Uncharted driver win this race in the past. This is the race you want to be in if you're an Uncharted driver. The Uncharted drivers do very well in the NAPA 400 at California. Fastest driver right now is this guy, Fisher G, in the 7. Now Nikolai Sykes has just gone to the top of the board in the number 6 machine. Great run there for the Angel Racing driver. And there's Jesse Turner coming off the pit lane. Last week's winner here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, looking to go 2 in a row. 18 career Napa fan wins, 6 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Compared to a couple other drivers like Fitzwater and John Arndt, he's a little bit lower than those guys. But Turner definitely one of the best drivers ever to take the racetrack in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, no doubt about it. Even though a lot of his success has come outside this series, even though he has won the Daytona 500 and a championship. He's got a lot of wins outside of this series as well. Nick Smith held the top position for a moment, then Eli Bright went and took it away with help from Daniel McMillan. And these guys, they got a good toe off of the group ahead of them. Fitzwater to the top of the board. Great run there for Zachary Fitzwater. Been a tough start to the season for this team. Beast Racing still trying to figure their things out as they downsize to a 2-car operation this year. We'll have to see what they can do as the season goes along. Fitzwater actually went winless last year, one of only 2 seasons in Fitzwater's career that he did not win a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. Of course, I know Fitzwater, I know Marty Johnson wants to change that for Beast Racing, the number 9 machine. Eli Bright back to the top of the board. Nathan Stapleton up to 3rd. Great run for him right there as he's leading this draft. Brandon Mayhew just went to 2nd. That's an uncharted driver drafting off of Zachary Fitzwater. John Art is 4th. You see him drafting off of this pack right here. And McMillan has fallen to 6th with Stapleton in 5th. Nick Smith, Thomas Troxel, Dale Lightning, and Andrew Miller. But Eli Bright, who's never won a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race before, currently the fastest driver in town here in NAPA 400 qualifying from Auto Club. McMillan just went back to 2nd. McMillan's looking pretty fast. Of course, this team, Otter Island Motorsports, won with Jesse Turner last week. Will they go 2 in a row early on in the season? Watch out for Nathan Stapleton as well. I believe he might have a good shot at the race victory tomorrow night. He's currently 6th fastest right there. Same 10 guys inside the top 10 right now. The points leader, Trey Bartow, 22nd fastest. Not too bad for those guys. It's difficult, especially if you don't have any drafting help. And you see Bartow right behind Nathan Faden there. Really not much going for him at the moment. Mitchell Henderson, currently the slowest driver in the field. Of course, this is, if anything, is a hometown, or about as close to a hometown race for this team as it can get. It's a team based out of Australia, but a little ways from there, but about as close as we can get to there. Southern California. Samet Oskin has blown up. Not good there for the Hamill Racing Enterprises team, and their young driver. Oskin currently 17th, a good run, but not a good sign heading into the race. Bartow just went up to 10th, and he took that position away from Andrew Miller. Bartow finding a little bit of speed in the number 4 machine as he caught up there to Mitchell Henderson and Nathan Faden. But it's still Eli Bright, fastest driver in qualifying here from Auto Club, and he continues to draft behind Dale Lightning, Nathan Stapleton, and Daniel McMillan. Only driver in this pack who does not have a lap inside the top 10 is Silas Orta, who is currently 21st fastest here in qualifying. But you're looking at your possible front row right there. Eli Bright and Daniel McMillan. McMillan, unlike his teammates, has gotten off to a rather rocky start. Of course, Dalio won the Smoothfest. Turner won last week. He's the only driver in that organization who has not won a race in quite some time. He's actually the last guy on that organization to have won a race. The last win he's gotten was season number 7 at Rockingham. And then Turner won last week. Dalio won Indianapolis last season as well. So it has been quite some time since McMillan has been the victory lane, almost 2 full years. Of course, they switched with the 75 team this year. They're now rolling off of Matt Dalio's team and their charter from last year, but McMillan's old team won the Smoothfest with Matt Dalio, so don't really know what's going on, but they got a good run going for him right here. That 79 looking pretty fast. But I don't think he's going to win the pole. I do believe Eli Bright's going to get this one and lead the field of the green flag tomorrow night in the NAPA 400. So it's Eli Bright, Daniel McMillan, McMillan's teammate Brandon Mayhew. Otter Island has the 4th car in this race as Mayhew qualified it through uncharted qualifying. He's 3rd fastest, so those are 2 Otter Island machines up there. The other 2 teams, 77 of Jesse Turner's 15th, and Matt Dalio in the 75 is 39th. Kind of a tough run there for Matt Dalio. That team has struggled in years past, but we'll have to see how they all figure it out. I do believe that the winner is probably going to come from around the top 15, so we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But we're not expecting a cycle race like we've seen this race be in the past, but anything is possible. One stop in the race tomorrow night. Of course, this race has gone caution-free quite a bit in years past. It's traditionally one of the cleaner races we get. Of course, this race also went caution-free last year. with Diego Yepes winning it. Yepes currently deep in the field, 41st. Yepes, that team, they've really struggled this year. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but that 88, driven by Silas Orta last year, they've had some struggles. And speaking of struggles, Sam and Ozkin with another issue. It's the second time they've blown a motor. Either that or he just didn't get back around, and he's been rolling around the racetrack with that engine issue. Something along those lines. It might not necessarily be an engine issue on that 83, but it's still not pretty. One guy who did just move himself inside the top 10 was Bradley Ream, and this guy's had a really strong run to start off the season. Of course, this team won the championship last year with Nathan Baird. Bradley Ream, 5th in points, 14 behind Trey Bartow. We're only in the second race, or heading into the third race of the season, I should say, but Bradley Ream has definitely impressed me and a lot of other drivers. One of the strongest rookies so far this season. As a matter of fact, of all the drivers in points, you know what? He's actually behind Keegan Thompson. Keegan Thompson's the guy who's the best rookie. Bradley Ream right behind him, though. But Keegan Thompson has also been a pleasant surprise. Of course, he never even made an NAPA fan start before coming into this year, but he has definitely shown a lot of strength for Father Fruit Motorsports. Nathan Baird has just moved himself up to 5th. And the 92 of Reagan Whitlock moved himself inside the top 10, so a couple of new faces up front right there. A little bit more diverse inside the top 10 this time. Last week we had a ton of rookies, or should I say a ton of veterans inside the top 10. This time we got Brandon Mayhew, Bradley Ream up there. And that's actually the only 2 rookies who are inside the top 10. I don't have many rookies in the field this season for the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, so that might be why the veterans are doing so good. Of course, Nathan Baird, not a rookie anymore. The Chick-fil-A Cup Series champion, and this guy has a lot of respect around the garage because of that championship last year, and he's right behind the car he won that championship in. But neither of those guys are going to be starting on the pole. It's going to be Eli Bright leading the field of the green flag for tomorrow's NAPA 400. Daniel McMillan will be starting alongside him in run number 1. It's Brandon Mayhew, Zachary Fitzwater, Nathan Baird, Bradley Ream, John R., Nathan Stapleton, Nick Smith, and Reagan Whitlock. It's the top 10 starting positions. Take a look at the rest of the starting positions right there. And it does appear that everyone is on their own time. No ties, so that is how they will line up for tomorrow night's 40-lap event here from the Auto Club Speedway. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Eli Bright. In less than an hour over on NAPA Fan, it's the Pepsi Zero Sugar for 300, I should say, not 400, in the Turkey Hill Series. Hope you guys stick around and enjoy that, and I will see you guys later.